Okay, let's talk about debt. For so many of us, it feels like this story that can only have one ending: sacrifice. But what if that's not the only way to write it? Today, we're going to explore how you can actually rewrite your financial story and find a path out of debt that still has room for the life you really want to live.
This is the big question that hangs over everything, isn't it? Does getting out of debt mean you have to give up absolutely everything you enjoy? For the longest time, it felt like all the common wisdom was just screaming yes at us. You've heard it all, right? Cut everything, stop going out, live like a hermit, survive on instant noodles, and, well, that's about it. It honestly feels like a punishment. And look, while that super extreme approach might work for a handful of people, for most of us, it's just a fast track to burnout. It makes you want to give up completely. So, let's start by tackling the real villain of this story, the all-or-nothing myth. This whole idea that you have to go to these crazy extremes, that you have to scorch the earth of your own happiness just to make a little progress, it's not just hard, it's a trap.
And this is that trap in action. It's a really vicious cycle. You start with these extreme cuts, right? But that just leads to feeling totally deprived. And that deprivation, it builds up into frustration. And what happens when you get frustrated? You snap. You go on a spending binge just to feel normal again, and boom, you land right back where you started, and a lot of times with even more debt. It's a pattern that's designed to fail.
So how in the world do we break that cycle? Well, we start with a completely different philosophy. Instead of a budget built on restriction, we're going to build one around your values. It's all about making sure your money is actually working for the things that truly matter to you.
See, value-based budgeting isn't about cutting everything. It's about being intentional. First, you figure out what really brings you joy, and you protect that spending. Then, you become absolutely ruthless about cutting out the stuff you suddenly realize you don't even care about. This is the part where you get to be the author of your own financial story. You are in control. So, if that daily coffee is a ritual that keeps you sane, but you couldn't care less about the 5 streaming services you're subscribed to but never watch, keep the coffee. Ditch the subscriptions. You're the one who decides what the priorities are. Alright, so once your spending is lined up with your values, the next step is to find the fuel for this journey: extra cash. Let's look at 3 really powerful ways you can generate it.
We're going to dig into a short-term sprint called the mini spending freeze, a long-term strategy of optimizing what you already spend, and the absolute game changer of boosting your income.
Okay, first up, the mini freeze. Forget about those miserable year-long no-spend challenges. This is totally different. For just 1 week or maybe 1 month, you commit to spending only on the absolute essentials. It's short, it's intense, and it gives you a quick, motivating win. A nice lump sum of cash you can immediately throw at your debt, all without that long-term feeling of deprivation. Next, let's talk about the art of optimizing. The old story was all or nothing. You had to cut things out completely. The new story is all about optimizing, which just means reducing without totally eliminating. You can still enjoy your life, just smarter. Maybe you make coffee at home most days, but you budget for that special cafe treat once a week. You cook more, but you still plan for an affordable date night. It's about smart substitutions, not total sacrifice.
And now for what might be the most powerful and, honestly, the least painful strategy of them all: boosting your income. Think about it. There's a limit to how much you can cut from your budget, right? But there's really no limit to how much you can earn. Every single extra dollar you bring in can be like a missile aimed directly at your debt, speeding up your progress like nothing else can.
And the options here are pretty much endless. Just think about the skills you already have. You could get into freelance writing, pet sit for your neighbors, do some online tutoring, or even drive for a rideshare service. This isn't about getting a whole second full-time job. It's just about finding a flexible way to add some serious fuel to your debt repayment fire. Okay, so you've aligned your values, you've found the extra money. What now? Well, you need a structured plan of attack. Without one, all that extra cash can just get absorbed right back into your normal budget. This is how we make sure every single dollar is working as hard as possible to get you to that finish line. There are 2 main characters in this part of the story: the debt snowball and the debt avalanche. The snowball method is all about paying off your smallest debt first. This gives you these quick, powerful psychological wins that keep you motivated. The avalanche, on the other hand, is pure math. You focus on the highest interest debt first to save the most money over time. Neither one is wrong. The best one is simply the one that fits your personality and keeps you going. But wait, there's a bonus chapter. Before you even start throwing all that extra money at your debt, you can actually make the mountain you have to climb a little bit smaller. It's time to optimize the debt you already have.
Look, don't just accept the terms they gave you years ago.
Call your credit card company and just ask for a lower interest rate. You would be surprised how often they say yes. Look into those 0% APR balance transfer cards, or maybe a personal loan to consolidate everything at a lower rate. And for student loans, explore your repayment options. Each one of these moves could save you a huge amount of money and time.
And all of this, it brings us to the end of our story, or maybe more accurately, the beginning of a new one. This whole process, it isn't just about getting a balance to zero. It's about building a future that you can actually love, both during the journey and for long, long after.
Because when you use these kinds of sustainable strategies, you're not just paying off debt. You're fundamentally changing your entire relationship with money. You're building habits of intentionality, of being resourceful, and of having control. And those are habits that will serve you for the rest of your life.
And that really brings us to the most important takeaway of all. The goal isn't just to be debt-free. The real goal is financial freedom. The freedom to make choices, to chase your dreams, and to live a life that isn't dictated by monthly payments.
Taking control of your money, it's a continuous journey. So, as we close out this chapter, I'll leave you with a question. Now that you have a new way to think about debt, what financial story are you going to rewrite next?
Ultimately, mastering your finances isn't about magic. It's about knowledge, discipline, and consistent action. I hope this video has empowered you to take control. Keep learning, keep growing, and keep building the financial life you truly desire. If you're ready for more insights, make sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and tell me in the comments, what financial topic do you want to conquer next? Let's build wealth together.